Hi, I'm Mimi Chen reporting for AsAmNews. Now, we all know it's tough to be gay in today's society, but what if you're a gay cowboy? Or a gay Asian cowboy? Nathan Ramos put together a song and a video to talk about just that. We wanted to ask him how he got there. So here's Nathan Ramos to talk about himself.
Well, I guess to introduce myself, my name is Nathan Ramos. My dad is a Filipino NASA engineer. My mom is a Korean immigrant, and I kind of grew up like near the cornfields of Ohio, like half an hour south of Cleveland. So yeah, I always, loved comedy. I always loved music. I played piano all growing up. I sang, and so, but I never really kind of thought that I could, be a singer or really because I never really saw myself in any of those spaces. I especially like loved country music, like
Okay.
Desperado was like the first song I sang. I loved going to Rascal Flatts concerts, and so I love Faith Hill and Tim McGraw and Carrie Underwood, and so but because I just never thought I could be in that space, I never really kind of pursued being like being a singer. And I mean I did, I taught for 2 years in Cleveland, and then I moved to New York and I was an actor for about like 4 or 5 years. I did a lot of shows. I did like the first professional cast of Mulan. I did the first all Asian cast for a nymph show, which was it's an all Filipino show called Prison Dancer. Did the longest running off-Broadway show, Awesome 80s Prom, and I just kind of got really sick of kind of how racist the industry was, and so I ended up writing a play called As We Babble On that ended up winning East West Players National Playwriting Competition, and
Oh,
it
wow,
yeah.
fantastic.
Thank you. And so, so it just had its world premiere last spring at East West Players, and so that did really well. I was super happy with it, and I ended up moving to LA, and I was working on a sketch comedy show called The Station through Maker Studios, and I did the Cape Writers Program, and I punched up a couple features through that, and then I ended up writing the reboot for the Mickey Mouse Club. So I did that, and then I wrote the music as well. I wrote the opening for the ABC Christmas Day Parade last year. So I'm really happy that I've been able to kind of like share kind of both my love of music and kind of my love of like kind of working with young people and comedy, and kind of really using all my talents now. And so so that's kind of where this video came from, was kind of all those things. And so so I am now EPing and writing. I just wrote a show for Disney Southeast Asia, so it's kind of like The Breakfast Club, but with kids with superpowers, and so we have an all Filipino cast, and which is super exciting. So that's kind of what I'm working on now, and have some other stuff in the works too. So yeah.
Well, holy cow, I just found out so much about you in just a couple minutes here. And I'm really impressed because you seem to have done quite a bit. You seem awfully young for having achieved so many recognitions.
Oh, thank you. It's that honestly, it's that Asian skin. I look good. I'm
Oh,
giving
yeah,
it to you
right.
now.
We're all young Asians
Yeah,
until we turn
yeah.
80.
We're all 22. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so you basically you grew up in the Midwest. You
Mm.
had some country influences. So does that um, really make the sound of your music? Because I haven't heard your video yet.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, like it's a country song. It's a country song through and through. And like I won a singing competition that paid for my college when I was 18. And so like I've always been a singer, and I just like love music. And so I mean, like I think the great thing what happened was because I felt like I couldn't really be a country singer, couldn't like really be in it. I just really kind of like fell in love with all types of music. And so I love singing R&B, pop, country, like
But
really anything. But
it
yeah,
sounds like country is really where your love is at.
it was for a long time. And then I
Uh-huh.
kind of realized how the reason why I kind of made it was because kind of realized how, like country is kind of like a red state entertainment, industry. And so it was like, oh, like, like a lot of people that love country don't necessarily, like believe I should be allowed to be married, or believe, like Asian people
Well,
stuff. But, like it's a generalization, of course, but it's that, like,
it is a stereotype, and there's some truth to that stereotype. But I will say that when Charlie Pride came out, They didn't put his pictures, and he's black. I think he was like one of the first black country singers, and people loved him. And I guess there's, what's his name, Darius Rucker. He's a black country
Darius
singer.
Rucker. Yeah.
So it can happen.
Yeah, but it's more exceptions than it is,
But I will admit, I have yet to see a country Asian artist. That would be quite unusual. I think I did encounter an Asian Elvis somewhere.
Yeah, I think even that kind of idea of it being unusual is an interesting kind of construct, because it's like kind of like, we're taught what to think is usual or unusual, like because of what we're allowed to, be a part of. And so, it's that kind of interesting thing to kind of, push my way into a place that that I've loved but never really felt accepted in. And so, and I think what I feel like I was trying to achieve with it is like, yes, it's a very funny song. Yes, it's very, like it's really kind of provocative. But I think a lot of people that are watching it are like saying like, oh, you actually have a really great voice. Oh, you actually like, this took a lot of talent to do. So I think that's kind of like, you always want to kind of, for me, create change with comedy. So that's kind of where I'm coming from.
So what is your intentions? You have this cool video. And what are you trying to do with it? Are you trying to break in the music industry? It sounds like you have a little bit of, maybe disenchantment with the acting industry. So is this your goal now? Writing or music or both?
I mean, I think that like we're at a point right now in Asian entertainment where, everyone who can do everything should be doing everything. Like we don't really have, we don't have enough actors, in the industry. We don't have enough singers in the industry. We don't have enough because, like a lot of our parents were like, no, do something practical, So like some of my favorite singers, that are Asian, like they're nurses and doctors, and they work at Google, like because like they were told they shouldn't, like pursue their dreams. And so I think it's that kind of thing where for me it's like, people are like, oh, like, well, you need to do one thing. And it's just like, and I think it's that kind of privilege of being like, if you can't think of anything else, then do that. It's just like, well, I think of everything all the time. And so like, why shouldn't I do everything all the time? Because like, I think we were taught to be perfect at everything growing up, a lot of Asian people, so it's just like, I feel like, like I have that privilege of being good at a lot of different things. So I might as well, like, if I have the bandwidth and if I have the passion for it, I might as well do all those things, because we don't have those things. And so if there's a difference for it, let's create it, kind of thing.
That's almost the Asian overachiever stereotype too.
Right.
Since your dad was a NASA scientist, does that mean you actually have, some scientific background as well?
I mean, I definitely like love science. I read like, science journals every day, every morning. So I'm always definitely, knowing what's happening, like reading about multiverse theory, string theory, reading, I was like, okay, that's interesting. And then I'll go back to, like watching YouTube videos kind of thing. So yeah.
All right. Well, we're looking forward to showcasing your video, and we'll have the link in our description here. And I want to thank you for your time to join us here.
Oh, sure. Thanks for asking me to chat with you.